Oh, I just want to let people know who you are. This is Rachel Garrity, as you can see, and I believe, are you using she, her pronouns?
I am. Thank you
Okay.
for
Good.
asking.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I should have said she, her, hers too.
Yeah. But I want to welcome you to the show, and we know each other from way back in the day, and we've both been doing work in the disability justice space, and I'm just so happy to have you on the show tonight. And I just feel like these kinds of reunions have been a long time coming, like just to be able to like spread the joy of how I feel about just really centering access at all times, and just trying to really build community in the way that I've been wanting to for years. And I'm just so glad to have you here for a conversation tonight. So I wanted to give you a little bit of space to introduce yourself, and yeah, just welcome you into this space officially.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much. I was really excited when you invited me. I thought, oh wow, I'm going to be on a podcast, and it was pretty cool. I identify as a person with disabilities. I was born with a neuromuscular disability, and I used a wheelchair my whole life. And I like to say that I am a very proud wheelchair user. When I go about my day, I feel like I'm living inside a Mario Kart game. And and that's one of the things that gives me joy about disability. When Matt and I met, way back in high school.
High school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that time, I was thinking about what I would do next, and I was really worried about it. I knew that going to college was probably my only pathway to independence, because my body didn't really work well enough to do a job that required a lot of movement and strength. But I felt so small in in comparison to my peers. They felt like they were so much more interesting and important and valuable than I was. And I remember having this realization when I was maybe a junior or a senior in high school that I already was an expert in something, and that something was disability. And I think that was the first time that I really embraced disability as a positive identity and as something that gave me power. And when I got to college, I became involved in a disabled student cultural group. And that's when I learned, yeah, that disability isn't just a diagnosis. It is an identity. It's a culture. And that too was really empowering. And I think those things, wrapped up together, helped me to understand my own power as someone with a disability in a world where the majority of people think that I'm powerless. And that helped propel me in my life and in my career and my relationships. So that's a little bit about me.
Well, pleasure to meet you and meet you and meet you again as we do, you know. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with us. And um, we really want to try to give folks the space to kind of talk about what their vision is for um, a revolution that lets the world adapt to all of us as much as we've been adapting to it. That says, wow, here's a bright ray of sunshine, and it's part of, the full power of the sun, you know, and all of us are part of that full power. And so, what Beth and I would like to invite you to do tonight is to speak a little bit about a topic of your choosing, anything that you would like to give forward to all of the folks listening or watching, or both, and just enjoy a little space to help us all breathe together with some new ideas and whatever you have to share, because that's why we're here tonight. So
Thank you, Matt. Beth, is there anything that you want to add to that you want me to cover or talk about?
I can't think of anything right now.
All right. So this might get wild. I'm warning
That's
you in
okay.
advance. All right. The bright rays of sunshine that I want to put out into the world. My dream for a disabled future can be boiled down to 3 words: acceptance and robot. And I mean that with complete seriousness. When I think about the first one, acceptance, I think that the world will change for people with disabilities when we are accepted for who we are as we are.
yeah,
And other changes.
yeah,
And to me, that means that we are believed when we talk about what's going on in our lives, what's going on with our bodies and our minds, that we're not doubted, second guessed, belittled, gaslit. That what we say about ourselves is taken as truth. And I'd really love to see that kind of acceptance take our healthcare system and our medical system and our social services system by storm.
yeah.
So that when we do need help and support and healing for our bodies and our minds, that we're able to get what we need and not have ourselves be hurt even more. And I think with acceptance, I want other people to accept who we are. I want other social movements to be welcoming, inclusive spaces for people with disabilities. And I want our movements to be welcoming, inclusive spaces for folks who don't share all of our identities. I want our friendships and relationships to cross boundaries and not be looked at as weird or shameful. And so that's all about acceptance. Do either of you have any questions or comments that you wanted to add?
I'd be wondering to know from that realization you had as a junior or a senior, from that power within disability, how did you move forward with that, and like how were you able to hold yourself to where you are now? And whenever you started to doubt that power, like how did you continue to hold on to that? That's something I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too.
So this is gonna sound maybe like very, very shameless, but I took that belief that I was an expert in disability, and that's how I marketed myself when I was trying to get into college. And
Nice.
it worked. I mean,
That's awesome.
not for all of them, but it worked for the one that I got into.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there were times when I felt like, man, woman, I shouldn't say that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Gee whiz.
Gee whiz.
I don't want to be the disability person anymore. I just want to be anything else. But I always came back to disability, and it was like when I got into the workforce and I tried to leave that disability expertise behind, I didn't succeed. It was like I was in stasis and I didn't advance, and I wasn't very happy. And then when I started pursuing disability related work, it was like my world erupted with joy and energy and excitement. And that's kind of how I finally knew that, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see.
Yeah. Eruptions of disability justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your power. Yes. That's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, can I talk about the other part of my disability justice dream.
Yes.
Sure.
Robots. I love robots. And everyone thinks I'm a little bit like silly, but I'm a big sci-fi fan. I love imagining different worlds, and I think that technology holds a lot of potential for enabling people with disabilities to live the lives that they want to their fullest. And so I hope that as we move into the future, that people with disabilities, and all kinds of disabilities, not only the folks in wheelchairs, everyone, we are able to take the lead in developing technologies that improve our lives and enable us to live with disabilities, and that those technologies remain accessible to everyone who needs them.
Yeah.
I would just love to have like a robot PCA.
Yeah.
Not my robot PCAs would be amazing.
Yeah. 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 The lifting robot and the everything robot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, my dad actually works on robots.
Really?
So
Really?
we should have some more conversations with him. I'm in
Good
the
idea.
home care union. I've been working as a PCA for some time, and you know, to understand what it would mean, the kind of liberation that prevails, you know, the fact that my robot friend can do whatever I need it to do really for me, like whenever I need it to happen, you know, come on now, what that's the dream, right? Um, wow, yes, and everything else too. I would love to hold that vision with you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I know I work with PCAs and I love them so much. And I think it would be great to have like a robot backup when there's a blizzard so that they don't have to drive all the way to my house in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think yeah, that kind of concludes my dream. And I don't know how much time we have, but I would be really curious to hear from you, Matt and Beth, about what your dream for a revolutionary future is.
Oh, say that again.
What your dreams for
Oh,
a
you're wanting to know what
yeah,
my dreams are?
yeah, you and Matt.
Well, one of my dreams is to, break, shatter the glass ceiling for, more women to get on into, women with disabilities to get on into public office. I mean, we know someone who, and it's who was able to get onto the Maplewood City Hall, but unfortunately, and I'm just going to say what we don't need are any more Clarence Thomasite individuals. We need to have more progressive, disabled women in public office.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any of that. I mean, we don't have, have enough disabled women in public office. You know, it seems like the disabled men have had a little bit more of a fair shake, always the ones who've been depressed and maybe a few blind guys.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're the ones that make more money as it is.
Yeah, I think all around I share that dream.
You know, and I ran for school board one time and got 3,000 votes. Well, school board is one of these offices where you don't know who the hell you're voting for here in St. Paul, or, you know, judge. That's even funnier. It's a screech. I mean, you just don't know who or why the hell you're voting for them. And, you know, and I did, you know, get a, you know, good number of votes. And, you know, and I, you know, one other reason I want to move out of here as soon as I can is, you know, it would help me be able to, you know, get back in touch with women winning, you know, to discuss some more issues with them about where I would be living, you know, in terms of getting onto the St. Paul City Council, you know, most likely. You know, you know, the problem is that if I moved farther away from, you know, where I want to be, it wouldn't be, you know, well, the person that is representing my ward is wanting not to be in there any further, which is good, and I would like to take his seat. But, you know, I'm planning on moving away from this, you know, neighborhood component. So, I don't know yet. You know.
Well, I hope you run. Well, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I run for school board.
Yeah.
I was trying to say that one of my deepest dreams for just everything that we've all had to go through at different points to really try to hold on to that license to thrive, you know, all of the groups that have been working for years to try to hold you know, some level of systems change together to keep us moving forward, you know, like, and friendships sometimes fall apart, and sometimes we don't always get the same reception from every organization that someone else does, and that sort of thing. And I just would love for us to get to that point within community and the power that we're able to build, that we really can say, you know, the things that we've put in place for our lives are making a difference, and we all matter, we're all here, and we want things to work for each other, you know. The systems that support us and give us that license to thrive, that we really shape together. That's what I want. That's one of my disability community dreams, because I don't want to get stuck on just feeling like things might fall apart all the time. You know, none of us deserve that, you know. None of us deserve that. So just to be able to have that faith and that trust in the systems that support our lives, and really feel like, yes, my life, the way that I am holding it, the things that I want and need for myself, it is possible. And I'm going to grab onto that now, you know, for us to be able to say that about ourselves and with and for each other, you know, is what I really want. So
That I'm doing the clapping hands emoji because I 100% endorse that. I love what you said about it would be wonderful to you know, not like, always feel like our lives might fall apart. Like, it would be great to have stability to thrive and flourish.
yeah.
And we need to work together to do that.
Yeah.
I know it's easier said than done. But I really believe that you know, if we all start really like caring deeply about one another and what we're all going through and really trying to have each other's backs in whatever ways we can, that might be a start.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want that too. Oh my goodness, like
What?
we are the revolution, you know? All of us
Yep.
together we are. So I just want to keep our tires pumped up. Like let's keep pumping up
Mhm.
those tires, you know? Definitely.
Well, Beth and Matt, before we go, can I tell a joke?
Yes, please.
Okay. Why do trees have so many friends?
Why?
They branch out.
uh, they branch out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Here's to branching out.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so
Okay.
much for chatting with me tonight and onward with the revolution.
Yes, here
Yeah.
we go. Here we go.
Mhm.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Beth. Take care of yourselves.
You
And
too.
others.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good
Good to
night.
meet you.
You
Hope
too,
we meet
Beth.
in person.
Me too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Great.